Kibe is one of my favorite dishes. It is a Middle Eastern delicacy that is very popular in Brazil. Today I will show you how to make quibe assado, which is the baked version of this delicious dish. Here's a list of the ingredients that you'll need. 1 pound of ground beef, half a pound of bulgur, soaked in water for 2 to 3 hours, 1 large onion, 1 bunch of mint leaves, 2 teaspoons of salt or more, a couple of teaspoons of butter and olive oil, and some spices such as ground pepper, cinnamon, and nutmeg. Now let's get started. Once you have measured the ingredients and cleaned the mint, the first step is to separate the mint leaves from the stems in preparation for chopping them. Okay, now that we've gotten the mint washed, let's move ahead and start prepping the onions. The next step is to chop the mint leaves using a food processor, knife, or scissors. As you can see, the mint needs to be finely chopped. We're going to move back to the onion now. In this step, we need to finely chop the onion. It is important to chop the onion well in preparation for mixing with the meat and bulgur. So now all we have to do is divide the chopped onions into 2 bowls using a 60-40 split. We will combine the larger portion with the mint. The next step that we're going to take is we're actually going to mix the bulgur, which has been soaked in water for 2 to 3 hours, and then drained thoroughly prior to mixing with the mint and onion mixture, the salt and spices, and half of the ground beef, which I measured using a scale. As you can see, you need to mix the ingredients until they are fully integrated. A meat grinder is a great tool to use if you have one. Okay, now we're going to get ready to flash fry the meat. First, what we're going to do is put some oil and butter in a pan over medium-high heat. Next, we will saute the onions before adding the meat and the pine nuts. It is important to remember to add salt to the meat because this greatly impacts the flavor. Add the beef to the pan when the onions become translucent. You should cook the beef until the liquid that rises from it has almost completely evaporated. As you can see here, we have a ways to go to finish this batch. Now we are ready to prepare the pan, but first make sure to preheat the oven to 350 degrees. Let's start by coating the pan with a non-stick cooking spray. Next, we will add a layer of the bulgur and beef mixture to the bottom and sides of the pan. Make sure to pat this mixture down well. For the second layer, add the sauteed ground beef and pine nuts. Make sure to pat down this filling similar to how we treated the first layer. For the third layer, we will use the remaining bulgur and beef mixture. After the final layer has been added, use a knife to cut a few ridges and drizzle a little bit of olive oil. Optionally, you can cover the kibe with aluminum foil. You will need to bake the kibe in the oven for 45 minutes at 350 degrees, then switch the oven to broil for 5 to 10 minutes. After all of this hard work, you will be rewarded with a delicious Middle Eastern delicacy that has a touch of Brazilian flavor. It is one of my favorite dishes and well worth the time and effort. I hope you enjoy it as much as I always do.